guys are so cute. Well, welcome to Wednesday night Power Up service. I'm so excited to be here. I hope that you guys had a beautiful Thanksgiving and you guys were able to enjoy it with love and happiness. And I am incredibly honored to stand here in front of you and be your host for this evening. So as you can see behind me, we have an incredibly powerful lineup for this Power Up service. And to start us off, we have Rosedale Jones, who's going to come up and she's going to bless this evening for us.
Please join me inside and allow my pronouns to be yours. And gently close your eyes in prayer. There is this power that's just within me, and it's so wonderful because it does everything beyond me, and it's working for my highest good in this very moment. And as I enjoy this wonderful power, as it's stirring around, as it's awakening me, I'm also watching a fabulous, wonderful service. And we're all uplifting this power in one way or another. And so I know that there's nothing but gratitude for this. And this gratitude, all you need to do is reach up and grab whatever it is you need tonight and take it home with you from this service. And so it is.
Thank you, Rosedale. Okay, so for this evening, we have a very powerful, strong voice of Kenny Dye. She was born and raised in Oklahoma, and you can't help but feel her roots in her voice. So help me give her a warm welcome to Miss Kenny Dye.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here this evening. Thank you so much. All I need is sunshine in the morning, a cup of coffee, yeah, make it black, and all I want are miles to go walking. Keep it simple, my mind's untracked, and I'll just be rolling down the road. Follow my heart, see where it goes. And I've always been one to find my way. No matter where the stones may lay, I'll forge a path all before midday. Because there isn't much I need. An open space, a gentle breeze. Somewhere I can find me a good old song to sing. No, there isn't much I need. Lately life's been looking like a puzzle, and all my pieces, they're scattered round. One by one, I'll put them back together. Piece by piece, yeah, I'll lay them down. And I've never been one to wait in line. I jump right in, and it's just fine. But something's telling me to take your time. Because there isn't much you need. An open space, a gentle breeze. Somewhere you can find you a good old song to sing. No, there isn't much you need. The sun shines there to light our day. The moon and stars, they guide our way at night. The trees create the air we breathe, and the much we need. An open space, a gentle breeze, somewhere we can find us, a good old song to sing. No, there isn't much we need. No, there isn't much I need. An open space, a gentle breeze.
Woo, she's amazing every time, and I know because I've heard her before, and still every time. All right. So tonight, this evening, we have a very special guest speaker for you guys. She's coming to us from Seal Beach. She's the fourth generation in this movement of Centers for Spiritual Living. So her consciousness, you know that her consciousness is definitely up there. So I'm really excited to hear her speak, and I'm really excited that she is here. She was actually one of the key players for the reason why we even have a Power Up today. And I appreciate her for all she is. Not only is she beautiful on the outside, and you guys will see this soon, she's also gorgeous on the inside. So help me give a warm welcome to Nicole V.
Thank you, Kat. So I was told that this is the time of service where we get to set an intention. And I just wanted to talk for a moment on what it means to set an intention. Does anybody here know what that means? Okay, so to set an intention is kind of the first step in creating anything in your life. And actually, scientifically speaking, since we come from a faith called religious science, and we are a mingling of the two, something really cool about an intention is that it starts as a thought in your frontal lobe. And it actually moves down into the central nervous system. And then it goes into your amygdala. And it becomes a vision. So the thought in your frontal lobe becomes a vision. And it's a vision within, and so our brain doesn't know the difference between reality or our imagination. And so we can live in that vision of our intention. And eventually, our bodies will line up with what our mind is telling it, with what our brain is telling it is going on. So I want to invite us now to move into a space of centering within ourselves. And I want to invite each of us to set an intention this evening. And the kind of intentions we could set are that we become the kind of person who is open to spirit, who's open to love. I set an intention that everywhere I go and everyone I see, I recognize them as my brother and sister. What is your intention? What is it that brings you to life? When you think about it, when you feel it, why did you come here this evening? Once you feel within you that nudge of spirit, that little flickering flame of fire that says, this is my intention, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to show up as, I want to invite you to just go within to that inner eye and see it. See what you would be like. See what you would be acting like. Feel what you would be feeling if you were living this intention. Go ahead and just let yourself surrender into it. Would anyone like to share their intention? Yeah. Expansion. Yes? Seeing only love. Oh. Yes? More adventures? Start imagining it first, and I'm sure you'll feel your heart race and all those wonderful physical and biological experiences of adventure. Anybody else? Yes? What does freedom look like to you? Pure freedom. Yes? What does that feel like inside of you? Love. Anyone else? So this evening, I want to share with you something personal. I want to share with you that Spirit has been nagging at me. Do you know what it feels like when Spirit's nagging at you? Yeah? Okay. So Spirit has been nagging at me lately, and it's been saying, just keep moving forward. Even when I want to dig my heels in, it says, just keep moving forward. Even when I want to turn around and run in the direction I just came in, it says, just keep moving forward. And so I figure that since we're all one, that since Spirit is bugging the crap out of me about this, that maybe we could all use a reminder, okay? So I'm reminding us via Spirit, just keep moving forward. So how many of us have a vision for our lives? How many of us have intentions? Almost all of us, right? How many of us have an idea of the way that we want to be in the world? Many of us, I've heard you. And yet, how unfortunately easy is it for us to let all of those good intentions fall to the wayside when poo gets on our path? You know, when crap just falls right in front of us, and we're like, how am I going to deal with this and be in that intention, right? You know, maybe it's just me. I know it's not just me. So, my vision gets blurred. And it gets blurred because life can get hectic, you know. There are deadlines. There are persnickety personalities, let me tell you. There are situations and circumstances that come up that are completely out of my control. There's politics. There's the news. There's my teenage children. It's endless. It's endless. And so I can let all of that throw my vision, throw my intention to the wayside and say, I'll pick it up when things are good and ready for it, right? Or I can listen to Spirit and I can say, just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Don't look down. Do not turn back. Just keep looking forward. And so that's why our talk title this evening is Into the Mystic. Into the Mystic. Because what I know for certain, what I know for sure, you know, like Oprah's little article, What I Know for Sure? What I know for sure is that no matter how much poo gets on our path, no matter how much our vision is blurred, there is a truth. There is a truth far beyond all of this material world, and that is that we are mystical beings. We are mystical creatures living a mystical journey of life. That's the truth. And you might wonder, well, what is a mystic? Am I a mystic? A mystic is one who believes in spiritual truth beyond the intellect. Who here believes in spiritual truth beyond the intellect? You are a mystic. And a spiritual path is just this journey of awakening to our oneness with the divine. A mystical journey is the journey of awakening to our oneness with the divine, which is kind of like what we do every time we're in a relationship, or we're here, or we're trying to be better, or live in our intention. And so that's why we just keep moving forward into the mystic. And I want to share with you this really interesting experience that I had, where Spirit really put me to the test about moving forward, and it's a little bit hilarious and scary. But first, I want to share with you some research that I found from this neuroscientist, Andy Newberg. And do any of you read the Science Mind magazine? Yeah? Maybe you're familiar with the articles that Andy Newberg writes. It's on science and spirituality. Andy Newberg says that mystics, what they've had to learn to do, and what we could learn to do, is suspend their ideas about God, okay? So he says that a mystic has to be able to suspend their ideas about God, because ideas are created and generated and stored in our frontal lobes. So when we have an idea about something, that is it. Forevermore, that is our idea until we change the neurocircuits and all that. But if we surrender our idea for a moment and be present, we can actually experience the divine. We can actually experience life. We can't experience it when we're in the idea of it, when we're in the concept of it. We can only experience when we're in the feeling of it, right? When we're present to it. And this is kind of what scientists have had to learn for years. They had to throw out all of the facts, all of the results, all that they knew to be true about something. They had to throw it all away or push it all to the side in order to make any new discovery. They had to say, this cannot be the end. Let's see if there's something more. And so Andy Newberg talks about the neuromystic and how we can become a neuromystic, a scientific mystic. And we do this by a very simple spiritual practice. They actually did this study with fMRI brain scans that showed, so they did a study and they took like 300 people and they asked them, every time you hear a phone ring, I want you to just take a moment, pause, become centered, take a deep breath, and then go on with your day. That's it. Just pause, become centered, take a deep breath, and then go on with your day. And they did this for 2 years, these 300 people, and what they found is that cognitive brain functioning improved by 25% in these people. And the reason for this was because they were able to be present to life, to the divine, here and now. And so I thought that was incredibly fascinating. And that was their journey of awakening to themselves. And that's what we get to do in this mystical journey into the mystic that we are. Dr. Ernest Holmes, there's these books called the Holmes Papers. And they're really kind of cool because they're a collection of conversations that Ernest Holmes had in private sessions with people and in closed classes. And so some of these dialogues are very mystical, and I want to share this with you. It's a little harsh, but he says, we must awaken ourselves. We must rediscover the lost paradise, that child who was not afraid of the universe in which he lived, that child who did not deny himself or his God, that child who had not listened to the dull, monotonous tone of condemnation, until he had isolated himself in fear from the universe, in guilt, and being antisocial became anti-spiritual. We must awaken ourselves. We must not allow all of the blurred vision, all of the crap that gets in the way of our lives. We must not allow that to throw all the good that we're doing off track. We must awaken ourselves. Okay, so here's where I want to share this story with you. Okay, recently I was at a ministerial conference in Asheville, North Carolina. And I was there with my beloved, Reverend Michael. And they told us at the beginning of the week that we were going to be doing a fire walk. Do you know what a fire walk is? You like walk on fire, like on hot flaming coals? Okay, and so all week I'm thinking, I don't know. You don't really have to make a decision until the time, right? So I'm like, Michael, are you going to do it? I don't know if I'm going to, So then here comes the day of it. And Dr. John Waterhouse, who was the president of our entire movement, so I kind of respected him a bit, he was the one who was going to be leading this. And he says, I've done this a million times. He goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. Everything's fine. Nobody ever gets hurt when I do this with them because we have such high consciousness. But you're going to need to sign these little waivers just in case. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if you have to sign a waiver, that, He goes, the worst that could happen is you might get a little kisses on your feet, that's all. And so I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord, okay. All these other ministers can walk around hobbling the next day with blisters on their feet. I'll just watch, I'll be an observer this time. But he said that we all had to sign the paper no matter what because people get a hair up their butt and just run out onto the fire in the middle of the experience. So we all sign these papers, and then we have to take a piece of wood each, and we have to go outside, and we bless the wood, and it's very spiritual, right? He calls in all the directions, and you feel very emotional and steeped in this spiritual ritual. And then he puts 2 gallons of kerosene or something on this wood, right? And then, and he says, get close, feel the fire. And you're like, I can feel the fire. It feels like it's burning your eyebrows off. But he says, feel it. Feel how strong it is. And you're like, God, he's crazy. He's crazy. And didn't you think he was a little crazy, Michael? That's his mentor. So anyway, okay, so we've got this flaming fire, and he tells us to get really close to it. And at this point, I'm seriously like, I am not doing this. This is ridiculous. Why would someone do this, right? And so he says, okay, now we got to go back inside and let the fire turn into burning embers of coal. And it's about 10 feet. So we go back inside, and it's pitch dark. We go back inside, and he says, now we're going to meditate and pray on our reason for walking on the fire. And so we all go into prayer, and of course I'm not going to walk on the fire, but I'm like, well, whatever, I can pray, right? And so I'm sitting there, and I'm praying. And all of a sudden, it occurred to me with not my voice, it must have been Spirit God or some loved one who's dead, saying to me, Nicole, you have already been through the fire, girl. You can walk through this. You've already been through the fire. You've been through flames of death and disease and loss, terrible loss, depression, illness. What's a little fire? And then all of a sudden I saw the people who died in Las Vegas. And it was right around that time, and I was thinking about their family members because I've lost family members, and I remember what that felt like, the pain, the flames of that they have to walk through. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do this for me. I'm doing it for them. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to do it for everyone who needs someone to show them that they can walk through the fire and come out okay. And all of a sudden, I started tingling inside, and I was so excited because I had a reason, I had a purpose. And so it was time, and we're going outside, and so now it's pitch dark. There's a full moon. There's like 100 ministers, and we're all walking together, and they're all singing, "There is only love, there is only love, love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love." And it's very deep, and it's very sacred. And I asked Michael, I said, should we walk together one after another? And he said, yeah. And there were two rules. There were two rules, and it was, number one, John was going to be on the other side with his hands like this, ready to welcome us in once we made it across the fire, Dr. John. And so we just needed to look at him. We just needed to keep looking at him. That was the first rule. The second rule was do not hesitate. Do not hesitate. Do not turn around. Do not look down. Just don't hesitate. And so we're going to get in line, and my beloved is very kind and patient and sweet and allows others to go in front of him and all that, but not me. I was like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it now. And so I go and I run in front of everybody, and I'm getting so excited. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? And I'm like, there's fire. I mean, there's still flames. They're little, but there's still flames, and it's all red. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this for me. I am doing this to show anyone and everyone who's struggling that they can get through. If I'm going to get through this, they can get through anything, right? And so I do it, and I get to the other side, and he hugs me, and it's like, talk about into the mystic. I was just like, I went from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. Dr. Ernest Holmes says this. He says that spiritual thought force is greater than human resistance. Spiritual thought force is greater than human resistance. Now, I had a lot of human resistance, but spirit, or that voice inside of me that said, girl, you got to do this, it was greater than me. It had a greater purpose and a greater meaning than whatever I was giving to my fears. And it taught me it reminded me of two of the most basic but so important laws of life. Number one, you go where you're looking. You go where you're looking. Where are you looking? Where are you looking, and what are you looking with? And the other one is sometimes we have to surrender all intellectual properties to experience life. All of those intellectual ideas that say, no, this is a bad idea. This is dangerous. You can't do this. You're not brave enough or strong enough or whatever enough. Sometimes we just have to surrender all intellectual properties and say, spiritual thought force is greater than human resistance, and I can do this. And I will do this. And if I can't do it for me, I'm going to do it for somebody else, because we're all one anyway, and so it's okay. And so that's what I want to remind us this evening, is to just keep moving forward. I don't know what kind of flames or fires you might be walking through right now, but don't look down. Don't look back. And I got you, and we got you, and Spirit's got you. Just keep looking forward. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was amazing. All right. Before I forget, if you have a white BMW, the lights are on, so you might want to go back to your car and turn the lights off. A white BMW. Yes. We'll see you when you come back. Okay. All right. This is the portion in our service where you get to ask Nicole any question that you may have in regards to her. And the hands are already flying up.
Oh,
Look at that. I have to run down there already. I'm coming. I'm a-coming.
Spiritual thought force is what?
Greater than human resistance.
Okay, so when I was up there, I was going to say, if there's any questions that you may have, be brave, be courageous, because someone else might have those same questions that you have, and maybe you can ask it for them. I'm coming.
I wanted to know, how are your feet and how did it feel as you were crossing?
Oh, materialistically, my feet were hot, but they did not blister at all. The ground felt crunchy and hot, but it was incredible. Crunchy and hot, and afterwards my feet were hot, but they were okay. Yeah, no blister. So.
How fast did you walk?
Like that? Not too fast. He walked fast and he got a little blister, so. Or maybe he walked forcefully. Any other questions? What is the science behind that your feet don't burn? If you're speaking spiritually, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, spiritually, I could have an idea, but scientifically, I don't know. I know that, like I keep repeating, spiritual thought force is greater than human resistance. So I know that atoms and molecules can adjust for what it is that we're desiring. And I know that our body has instantaneous healing when our consciousness is in that flow. And so I know that that is so. I also work in a hospital and I see material bodies disintegrate every day. So, you know, it really depends on where you're at and what it is your intention is, right? Because people can do incredible things when their intention is so deep and so strong. They can lift cars, right, with adrenaline. They can experience great superhuman abilities. So, yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
At the beginning, very beginning, you mentioned something about the thoughts, that it goes into the nervous system.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, 2 more steps, and I missed
You want me
that.
to explain it to you specifically?
Yes, please.
Okay, I have it.
Thank you.
Okay. I can tell you exactly how it all happens. So an intention begins with a thought, and that's focused in your frontal lobe. And then that message is sent to your thalamus, which is the grand central station of sensory perception. Okay, and then the thalamus sends the information all over to all the other parts of your brain. And a particular place that it sends it is to your occipital lobe. And your occipital lobe is where you can form an image.
How do you spell that?
Oh, do you just want this paper? Okay, you can have this paper. And if anybody else wants to make a copy of it, this is the process. I'm not saying that there aren't beautiful, unseen spiritual laws at work, but this is the brain's process of how an intention goes from a thought to reality. So we can, yeah.
Is there anyone else? So from what I'm hearing, when you think about something, it manifests physically, right? And we do this all the time, like when we think about food. Right? So like if I were to talk about pizza, I'm from New York City. Pizza is awesome. So if I were to talk about pizza and how warm pizza is and how cheesy it is and the smell of the tomato sauce, I'm pretty sure that half of you are salivating at this point. So we just took that thought into the physical manifestation of salivating, right? And then who knows, maybe you manifest pizza later or something, right? So that's part of that.
That's partially why.
Partially?
Yeah.
That's how I say it.
Yeah. An intention is normally kind of like an attribute of God. An intention is normally like to express love or joy or peace or abundance or, you know. And so in that way, you move it from the internal to the external. And the thing with religious science, what our philosophy used to be named, is that we understood that science and religion should have always stayed merged. But it wasn't, and so we had to use faith to know what science is now proving. And so, although there are spiritual laws and ideas, our body is spirit, so that is a way that it demonstrates, yes. Yeah.
For any of us to be able to make a decision to do a one-time thing, like should I walk on the coals? Should I go for this job interview? Should I go visit so-and-so? Yeah, I'm just going to jump in the car and do it. I'm just going to jump on the coals and do it. But what about if you have something that, how do I say, it can't get accomplished just with a one-time thing, that you have an intention and hope, but you can't just do that one thing. You can't just jump in the car and go on the job interview. That
yeah.
You need something more, like, say, a health issue.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use intention then to activate the atoms and the molecules in your body?
Oh, well, I have a similar experience. I don't know what your physical issue is, but I have two different experiences that come to mind that took a large amount of time. The first one is that I've been in school to be a minister, from foundations till now for about 8.5 years, and for the most part, I've had a severe anxiety disorder, and I've had stage fright, excruciating stage fright. And as you can see, I'm here and comfortable. And so that took years, right? And so it took an intention where I would intentionally put myself in a situation where I was safe and able to dwell upon the reality of what I wanted to be in the future. And I would have to do that over and over and over again. And sometimes I would get knocked off my path, and sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I would stop and my throat would close up, and sometimes it wouldn't. And until here I am, years later. Another great one, I actually think, is my beloved Reverend Michael. For about 4 years before I met him, I knew that the next partner that I had, I wanted it to be that lifelong partner. And so I started imagining having Thanksgiving dinner with my partner and having him sit in the front row when I gave talks. And I would meditate on this for years. And I said, the one thing that I can do is I can make myself good enough for that person that I'm going to draw in. I can create within me the kind of person who could reflect the kind of partner that I wanted. And so that took years, but also that has demonstrated. So there are things, and they do take time, yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we could be here all night, and then we would go way past the live streaming time. So we will be in the family room at the end of this, so eating cookies, and if you have any questions, any other questions, Nicole will be here so you can ask her that. For now, we are going to welcome Miss Kinney Dye back on stage with her beautiful, wonderful voice.
There's a light that glows by the front door. And don't forget the keys under the mat. and childhood stars shine. Always stay humble and kind. Go to church 'cause your mama says to, and visit grandpa every chance that you can. It won't be wasted time, but always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you, and don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness, it keeps you from flying, so always stay humble and kind. Know the difference between sleeping with someone, oh, and sleeping with someone you love. I love you ain't no pickup line, but always stay humble and kind. And hold the door, say please, say thank you, and don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. When it's hot, eat a root beer popsicle, shut off the AC and roll the windows down, and let that summer sun shine, and always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around and help the next one in line to always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you, and don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Humble and kind. Always stay humble and kind.
Woo! Isn't she amazing? I feel like, I just wanted to sit in it a little longer and enjoy it. So here at Power Up, we think it's important for you to be uplifted, to be inspired, but most importantly, we think it's important that you leave here with something concrete, something to take away into your week, something that will make us all individually better people. So this is the reason why we include a call to action for our Power Up services. So help me welcome Miss Nicole back up on stage.
Thank you. A call to action. I feel like the call to action was the first thing I said, just keep moving forward. But a call to action with the intentions that we've set, with who we know we are, with walking through the fires of our life, would be to allow your opinions to align with your values, not your values with your opinions. To align your opinions with your values, not your values with your opinions. We all have opinions. They're not always sweet and kind. They're not always the most tasty treat. But our values, what are our values? What do we value? Do we value family? Do we value oneness? Do we value the philosophy that we study here? Do we value diversity? Do we value inclusion? Do we value wholeness? And if so, are we able to align our opinions with that? If we say that we are one, then we are one with all, even terrorists, even the people that make us sick, even the people that hurt us. We are somehow their brothers and sisters in this life. If we say that we are whole and that every one of us is born good, which is a foundational philosophy in the science of mind, then can we or do we see every person as inherently good? Or do we wind up aligning our values with our opinions? I want us to think about that, because I know that we say that we're loving, and I know that we say that we believe in compassion and community and wholeness and truth, but how are we showing up? Are we showing up in a way that is in integrity with that? That there is a straight line between what we speak and what we think and how we act? Sometimes it's that path that's on fire, where it would be a lot easier to just turn around and complain and feel sorry for ourselves and this and that, when the fire before us is rough. But what we really want is on the other side. What we really, really want, who we really, really are, is always on the other side of the fire. It's like growing pains, right? Growing pains are painful. They're painful, but we grow. And so the call to action is to start aligning our opinions with our values. And some concrete way that we can do that is the most simplest way that I've already spoke about tonight. It's centering ourselves. So what I want you to walk away with is, every time you hear a phone ring or a dog bark, I want you to bring yourself to the present moment. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to remember who you are. I want us all to remember that we are, like Thomas Troward says, the evolution of matter experiencing itself as spirit. We are getting to know ourselves as spirit. We are material beings getting to know our truth as spirit. And so let's just do that this week, just this week. Let's just let something or anything trigger us to remind us to come back to this present moment where we can actually experience life. And so I want to invite us to move into prayer right now, because I feel that power, that action power, that is this great and mighty good that I call God. And I feel it saying something and moving something within me and within each and every one of us in this room. And I think in some deep soul-stirring way, every one of us is a puzzle piece to this action. We are the hands, we are the lips, we are the voice, we are the eyes and the ears and the heart of the divine. This is reality. This is the truth. And if anyone in this world is ever to know the beloved, if anyone in this world is ever to know God, it is by me. It is by us. It is by our hands and our actions and our feet and our eyes and ears and compassion. That is how God reveals in this world, through us. And so I stand here, anointed, christened by the glory of life, knowing that every one of us here has been christened with the glory of life, that we are alive and we have breath, and therefore we are lifted, we are surrounded, and I'm wrapping us tight in this prayer, in my words of prayer, holding us. Because I know that there is only God. In the good and the bad and the ugly, there is only God. And so it is.
It's taking me a little longer to walk today. I don't know what it is. It's probably the shoes. Okay. So, thank you. Thank you so much. This is a portion in our service where we are welcomed to thank this center, everyone that is here, and by doing that, is a time of our service where we get the honor of supporting Seaside and all that it provides for us. Participating in the law of circulation, which helps us become more prosperous and generous people. So I'm gonna ask Karen to come on up, and we have Trudy, our ushers for today. And I'm gonna ask Rosedale to come on up to do a little blessing after this affirmation. So if you could please bring your gifts to your heart and repeat after me. This gift I give is God in action.
This gift I give is God in action.
I give it in joy.
I give it in
I
love.
give it in love. I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life.
I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life.
And so it is.
So it is with great thanks that I know that everybody, every soul has been fed. And in order to keep the doors open on a wonderful night like this and the power up, we know that contributions is such a powerful thing and it's such a wonderful blessing. So ahead of time, I say thank you, thank you, thank you for your generosity and your fabulous time for being here tonight. And so it is.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree that there will be an answer, let it be. Though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they might see that there will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let
She's so talented. She had a guitar, ukulele, she plays it all. Her voice, her presence. The violin, do you play the violin? Not today. So this is a portion in our service where I will once again be running the mic, and if there's anything that came up for you this week, the holidays just passed, if there's something that you want to share, this service is for you, and the more that you put in, the more that you will get out. If there's anything that you would like to share, not last week, but the week before, we actually had Rosedale. She was up here, and she was talking about being the inlet and the outlet of your personal quest. So her call to action was whenever you feel out of sync, whenever you need that energy, to rub your hands together. So I don't know if any of you guys did this, or if there's something else that you would like to share. Otherwise, I will hold the mic, and I will just talk all evening. And usually that scares a few people to raise their hands, but it's not happening right now. So for me, what happened this week was that I stopped making excuses. I stopped making excuses for anything when it started to come up. So I started feeling uncomfortable where I'm like, I need to start going to the gym, but you know what? I don't really feel like it. I don't really want to. So I contacted one of my best friends, and now like I'm on her schedule. Like she texts me in the morning. She's like, did you go to the gym? I'm like, no, not yet. But now it's for me. So I stopped making those excuses where I need energy and I want this and I want that. How can I create that? So right now I'm in that transition where I am not making any excuses. If something goes wrong, I take full responsibility for it. Even if it wasn't necessarily my fault, I take responsibility for it. And that's starting with my body and how I feel, including my energy and my time. So that came up for me this week. We could go on all day, but then this is just gonna be a soapbox. It's not about me, it is for you. So if there's anything that came up for you this week, the holidays just happened. We could talk about your turkeys, your tofurkeys. I know those are out there. Or I could just keep talking. This really does scare people, but today you guys are not afraid. There is no fear. That is really cool. That means spirit is here. Is there anything that came up for you today? Maybe when I mentioned, that there was a car outside with their lights on. That scares me for some reason all the time. Because I do it all the time. I don't know. It's a habit. Maybe it's because I want to light up the world while I'm in the... Guys, I am not a comedian. I'm just up here waiting for the scene.
I would love to tell you how fabulous that talk was because it brought back great memories. I've done that walk 3 times. And what it said to me was, if you can do this, there is not much you can't do. So I really loved that you talked about that. That was really fabulous. So thank you for sharing that.
What you just expressed, Kyle, I don't know if everybody was here this week, this Sunday service. Kyle was here, and he was talking, and he had a seminar afterwards, a 2-hour seminar, 3-hour seminar, actually 4-hour seminar. And he had mentioned about everybody make a list of things that they would love to do that they haven't done. And then he had you make an excuse next to that why you haven't done it. You were here for that. I remember seeing you there. And that's like what you just talked about. That you're going to go work out and make an intention and you're going to go ahead and do it. And so it was an interesting, I really enjoyed Kyle. I thought he was really, really exceptionally good. I've never heard of him before. I've never seen him before. So that was my first time. Yeah. Was everybody here for that Sunday service? No? Yeah? It was great. Anyways.
Yeah, so we always have these amazing speakers come, like Kyle Cease and Nicole V. Seaside is really about creating that that awareness of the people that are out there. And if you don't know who Kyle Cease is, there are videos up on our Facebook page because we created a whole event. Now you know who Nicole V is. So really stay in tune to what we're doing here because we have amazing speakers that just transform your life, like Nicole. Nicole's my favorite, not only because she's here, because, she really is. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your consciousness. Thank you for your awareness. Thank you for your presence. I want to thank Steve, and I want to thank Tim, and I want to thank Melanie. And we can clap for them because they're so amazing. They're here every Wednesday. And I want to thank Gregory for being here. Thank you for doing the live stream. And I want to thank Karen for filling in for Ginny this Wednesday and for being you, the awesome Karen that you are. Thank you. And I want to thank Trudy for holding the light. She's been holding the consciousness this entire time, this space. And I want to thank Kinney. Thank you so much, Kinney. You are amazing. And, of course, I would like to thank the people that are watching. Hi, Mom. And I want to thank Nicole for being here and for that beautiful, wonderful, powerful talk. And with all that being said, we're going to stand up for our congregational song. If you want to hear more of Kinney and probably take some of her music home, she has a table in the family room. We have cookies and tea and coffee. Just tea. Okay, and tea in the family room at the end. So please stick around, talk to us. And here is our congregational song.
So I know that the last few times that I've been here with the congregational song, I haven't brought anything to you that you know, and I've been like, come on, join me, let's go. So I teach yoga, and I sing during Shavasana for all of my yoga students. And what I've been doing is singing mantras for them to take out as they leave class, to just kind of hold with them in their heart to take out into the world. And these last 6 weeks of the year, I don't know why, as a society, we decided to wait until the last 6 weeks of the year to do everything. This is it. We're just going to do everything right now, from now until the end of the year. And so during that time, we have these ripples of vibrations that we put out into the world, right? And so it's very high energy right now, and people can be frustrated on the road, or, you know, the driving gets intense, or time with family can be intense. But we all create these ripples. And so this song, I hope, creates positive ripples within you to take out into the world, to just, let's create some positive ripples in these last 6 weeks of the year, okay? All right, if you want to try to sing along as we go, that's fine. If you want to hold it in your heart and just take it with you, that would be great too.
I will be joy, and I will be peace to those around me, and I will be love to all I see, because everything I need I have within me.
That's it.
And I will be joy. I will be peace to those around me. And I will be love to all I see, because everything I need I have within me.
Maybe one more time.
I will be joy. I will be peace to those around me. And I will be love to all I see, because everything I need I have within me. Everything I need I have within me. Oh, everything I need I have within me.
Core Power Yoga.
Core Power Yoga. We have cookies in the family room, and we have tea. So please join us in the back, and I will get you a copy so that you can know about the hypothalamus and frontal lobe thing. Yeah.